ですよね。
Godzilla Minus One. It was so good, you guys. It's so good. It wastes no time and has amazing destruction, and Godzilla being such an angry boy for no other reason than because, and just, I love it. I love almost everything about this film. There's definitely a reason it is now the highest grossing live action Japanese language film in the US. It even has an extended run now instead of just the 1 week release. It's now 2 weeks. It's not as big a win as it really should be, but still, I love it. This is a huge achievement, cannot be understated, and it isn't just because this is a Godzilla movie, but also just a generally good film exploring not only the monster as a metaphor, but also the human connection, while also being a wartime movie. There's a lot packed into this film that it is surprising that it only runs for about 2 hours. Any other filmmaker would have probably extended this to around 2.5 hours to maybe closer to 3, really depends, but I think this is fine at just 2 hours. That doesn't mean that this is a perfect film by any means. There are definitely some nitpicks that popped up, for me anyway, but overall this is a fantastic film that any Godzilla fan or otherwise normal moviegoer would find incredibly enjoyable. Let's get into it beat for beat. The film follows a World War II kamikaze pilot named Koichi, who, after avoiding his duty by claiming his plane is malfunctioning, has a traumatic encounter with a pre-mutagen Godzilla. Upon returning home, he discovers his city destroyed in air raids and nothing to his name. As the years go by, he rescues a woman and a parentless child and gets a job deactivating mines. Godzilla, now mutated by nuclear testing, appears and begins to lay waste to the countryside. It's up to Koichi and his ragtag group of friends to stop the giant monster from destroying Tokyo. Now, that absolutely sounds ridiculously cheesy and dumb on the surface now that I read it, but let me tell you that this is supplemented with a fantastic pace, genuine tense and frightening scenes of pure destruction, and a wonderful commentary about wartime struggles, anti-government tendencies, and personal strife and grief. The film takes its time to develop the human characters and tells a moving story about a man dealing with severe PTSD and depression, alongside the monster aspect. There's a lot about fighting your own personal war that is just such a good metaphor for everything this movie's trying to do, and then using this absolutely terrifying behemoth of destruction and death to supplement it, just perfect. Godzilla is once again a beacon of nuclear bomb energy and is an actual terrifying brute on screen. There's one scene that I'm surprised hasn't really been explored before that has Godzilla chasing a boat like Jaws. I'm pretty sure that this whole scene is even a reference to the shark and the movie itself, but it's done so well and is so unique in this that it's just edge of your seat stuff. The city destruction scene as well is just wonderful, even if it did kind of look like Shin Godzilla. Even the refrained use of Godzilla's theme in this is just, ooh, it's perfect for the tension and hostility. The director was very clearly conservative in choosing when and where to put the theme. It is used very sparingly and at all the right moments. Godzilla's design as well is also fantastic and is just a joy to look at whenever he is on screen or doing something. His presence can really be felt, not just in the size, but in the anger and everything else he does. There are some scenes that kind of bring into mind various scenes from Jurassic Park, but instead of eating people, he's throwing them away or something. It's really interesting. It also does not skimp on the death. There is a lot of death and destruction, but that's kind of what you come here for. A lot of this film, however, focuses instead on the human man Koichi, played by Kamiki Ryunosuke, who does a fantastic job portraying the man's fractured state of mind. Granted that some aspects of the lines he performs do feel a little odd given the nature of subtitles and translations, but I think he does a great job overall. And that also goes to the girl he takes in as well named Noriko, played by Minami Hamabe. She's diligent and smart for the most part, and is just a really good emotional foil for Koichi. I wish she was more in the movie and played a little bit more than just the traditional wife aspect in Japanese culture, but this is set in the 40s, so come on. There really isn't a bad actor in this film, and if I label all of the actors, we'd be here all day. But the point is that the humans are very, very important to this story. The characters are flawed and complex and mentally upset because of the tragedies, and it's all portrayed really, really well in my opinion. They really chew on these sets too, which I think is impressive. These sets are decent enough, but the true glory goes to the destruction scenes and Godzilla himself. Sure, he isn't practical and none of the destruction is done practically, which kind of sucks for some people, but I feel like a Godzilla suit would look weird nowadays, and giant puppets really aren't cost effective like with Shin Godzilla when they had to scrap all of those. The budget was only around 15 million USD, and the effects we got for that are incredibly impressive for that amount. Every dollar clearly went to Godzilla to make him look his best. Speaking of Shin Godzilla, you might be wondering about this film's relation to that one, and the answer is a little bit all over the place. You might think it's in the title. Being that this is -1, you might think it's a prequel to Shin Godzilla, especially being set in the 40s. However, it is not a sequel, and it is not a prequel like a lot of people have been saying, and what I thought it was going to be, but that's probably on me. -1 isn't technically connected to any of these and is its own thing, but the continuity does kind of lend itself to Shin, so who knows? Shin did kind of leave on a cliffhanger, and it might make sense to revisit it with a proper sequel that would be a sequel to this one, make it a trilogy. I don't know, I think it fits really well. The -1 in the title refers to Japan itself after World War II being ground zero for nuclear bombs and then brought further down by Godzilla. That's the point of that. It's honestly a bit convoluted. It would make a lot more sense to just have this be a prequel. I really think being a prequel fits, but who knows? There's already talks for a sequel, so we will see. Now then, I also said that this wasn't a perfect Goji movie, but it's definitely up there. But some things hold it back. Mostly hokey English subtitles here or there, and also some strange bits of editing, like the decision to have several slow fade outs from some scenes that just felt very weird to me. There's more than a couple, and it was just very odd. Maybe it was a reference to the original 1954 Gojira, but who knows? This film is already a giant love letter to that movie, so I don't know, man. Some character decisions also seem incredibly odd to me, as well, like one sacrifice that seemed very avoidable at the time. But whatever, it services the story just fine. Sometimes you need it for added drama. That makes sense. It honestly doesn't detract too much from the destruction and chaos, so who cares? This is a fantastic film whether you are a Godzilla fan or not, and the director, Takashi Yamazaki, did a phenomenal job, and I cannot wait to see more from him. Hopefully another Godzilla movie, because he clearly knows how to handle not just Godzilla but the human characters as well. You don't need to give up one or the other in service for the opposite. You can just have both as long as they're both compelling. America kinda needs to figure that out, but American Godzilla is a very different beast entirely. I definitely recommend this one. Give it a watch if you can in theaters. It's in there until the 14th now, I believe, with a lot of theaters extending the run. I feel like they might extend it even further because it's doing just such a great job in the box office. But again, we will see. If you can, give it a watch. I highly recommend watching this in IMAX. It's everything you could want and more. Ultimately, Godzilla Minus One gets an extremely solid 9 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for watching another one. Y'all know that I am a huge Godzilla nerd, and this movie had so much love for Godzilla and what Godzilla originally was, and was meant to be at the start. Like I said, this is very much a love letter to 1954's Gogeta and just everything associated with that. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. I just love seeing this giant lizard on screen, whether he's a good guy, a bad guy, just really angry for no reason whatsoever. They don't even like explain him. He just kind of exists and everyone is just okay with that, which sure, it's Japan. A lot of the Godzilla movies just have Monster Island and everyone is just okay with that and doesn't question where it came from, what this is. He's just there. That's fine. You can do that. Nobody cares where Godzilla came from, just that he is from nuclear weapons. Nobody else cares. Maybe American Godzilla, but hey, we just got the trailer for Godzilla X Kong again. He's pink now. He shakes his arm when he runs. I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it. I love it. What do you guys think about Godzilla? Do you love him? Do you hate him? Do you like the American version more? Do you think Toho really needs to cut back on the copywriting? Because Jesus Christ, I know I'm going to get slammed with copyrights in this, even though I'm just using trailers and clips, but holy shit, they're awful about it. Anyway, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video. Let me know what else I should watch in the comments below. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo. The fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost song I know. And I'm just a ghost in your stereo.